Close.
Okay, today is Wednesday, June the 2nd, 2021, and I call the meeting to order. I would like, if nobody objects, to have a moment of silence for Tom Quinn. Was a great guy. I knew him fairly well, and he was just a great family man, a great veteran soldier, loved his family, and he did an awful lot for the town of Fairfield. A really good guy. So a moment of silence, please. Okay. The third item on the agenda is to hear, consider, and act upon a contract review process concerning evaluation of bids received and recommended for award from the purchasing department, project architect. I don't know if the project architect is on, and Sal, I would say. So we will start with the purchasing department. Gerald?
Yes, hi. So this is Gerald Foley. So what we're doing is we're out to bid for the roof replacement at the Burr Elementary School. The bid submissions were due on May 20th. As a result of that bid solicitation process, we had 6 companies that submitted bids. The low bidder, or apparent low bidder, was a company called Silktown Roofing from Manchester, Connecticut. They had bid $967,000. They had committed to, upon an award, that they would commence within 14 days. And based on subsequent conversations with them, they have said that if the town were to award the project to them, that they should be able to complete the project within the timeline that we had set forth in the bid, which was by August 18th of 2021. So based on we did is we had
that was based on an award today, Gerald.
Well, yeah. What it's based on is it would be well, our thought was with this project is we want to get them geared up so that they're really commencing work the day after school commences. Right now, it's last day of school is the 18th, so we wanted to get them squared away to actually commence work on the 21st.
Okay.
So to facilitate that process, Silktown has said that there's a bit of a problem in the market in terms of products. So what they're looking for is a commitment from the town as soon as it's practical so that they can actually start ordering materials and getting things in queue.
Well, so don't they have submittals to give to the architect?
Yes, they do. That's correct.
And those submittals have to be reviewed, and that's usually a 2 to 3 week generally period.
Yeah, but if they're providing what is specified, they could certainly order it.
But they're doing it at their own risk, and that's
But if it's what's specified, it can't be rejected. I mean that's.
I understand, but they're doing it at their own risk, and they need to be told that if they order anything, it's at their own risk.
Correct. So what our process is such is, and Sal could talk a little bit more to this in a bit, but what Silktown is saying to us is, so just let me take a step back. So what we did is we had a scope review meeting with Silktown Roofing, and also just to do belts and suspenders, we had a scope review meeting with the second bidder, which is a company called Imperial Company Restoration. And so what we were getting initially from them in the initial sets of scope review meetings is that there was issues with 3 components for the roof. And during this was basically all occurred last week. And so as we were vetting the process further going through, Silktown called us back, and they've confirmed that they've secured product in their warehouse, and that they said based on lead times that were provided by their suppliers that they should be on track. Again, if we were to make an award to them to complete the project in the timeline that we've set forth. The issue that they're saying, though, is that because this is an unusual period, that they're asking for as much time as they possibly can as more of an intent to award from the town, so that they can start ordering those materials probably a little further ahead than what they would normally do. And as kind of as Rod had said, what we want to do is engage the architect early on, so that we kind of expedite that whole review process, so that when the last day of school occurs, that subsequent week, that we can actually commence the project, and that way giving us ample time to complete within the timeline. They've said also too that the whole project should take no more than 4 weeks to complete. So that's why they're looking for kind of a longer lead time in the initial stages, to give them more time on the backside, just to be safe, just to make sure that everything does in fact come in.
Is this the Silver Petrocelli project?
Yes, so we've got the architect from Silver Petrocelli. He was on the all of the scope review meetings we had. The gentleman's name is Ken Lindsley, mm-hmm. And so he's been assisting us in terms of going through the vetting process with Silktown.
Yeah, the review process should take no more than a few hours, to be honest with you.
That's what we're hoping.
Silver Petrocelli's very good at turning things around.
Right.
But what is, Gerald, what is included in the documents if they can't get the materials? Because I am hearing that all over. So what we're planning on doing, and so my thought is to discuss with the town attorney to give us the town an out, so that and we're gonna pick a date. If they can't confirm by X date, that the town reserves the right to not necessarily to cancel the project, but to suspend it and then move it to a subsequent period. Because the issue is, just as you said, Jane, is if they start the project and for whatever reason they can't complete the project, then it opens us up to issues of them going into potentially when the school is in session. Because the issue is that they won't, not necessarily that they can't get the product, but they can't get the product in that same timeline that we want. So we're going to have to work on some assurances to ensure that they actually can, once they've started opening the roof, that they actually can physically close it in time for school to commence. So the town attorney will provide like a rider to the contractor purchase order?
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Right, is something, and Sal could talk more to it. But that's kind of our thought is that because the issue is that this is an unusual year in terms of I guess there's been shortages in different products. And so, for instance, like there's one of the products is the insulation. Insulation, I think it's the top sheet, and then there's a piece that goes below the insulation. That there seems to be a little bit of a lead time issue, but they're saying that the product should be, they're saying 4 to 6 weeks from when they physically order it. And as what Rod had mentioned, Silktown is already contacted their suppliers, and I think that they've gone ahead and placed some tentative orders with them to kind of get into the queue, so that when they are awarded it, that they've got placeholders for the products.
Hi, it's Sal. Sal, in this case, are we going to wait for them to have the material in hand before we allow them to open up the roof?
That would be the ideal situation. What we have, just so you understand, the components, the straight insulation is not a problem. The taper package is not a problem. The cover board is what they would be waiting for, along with the cap sheet. The base sheet is readily available. as Gerald said, those two components, the cap sheet and the cover board, have a 4-week lead time per GAF. This was last week. They were asking for a letter of commitment as soon as possible. So we're hoping to get the letter of commitment out tomorrow so they can get a confirmed time frame. The work is a 4-week. It's a 4-week project. So backing into that, we have about 6 weeks to work with.
Yeah, I would strongly recommend not starting until they have all the materials, because I'm working on a project, and you get told whatever the lead time is, and it's almost, I think, become a thing that anybody can say, oh, I can't get it now because of COVID, and I just don't think whatever they're telling them the lead time is necessarily solid. And I'm not saying that anybody's doing that on purpose, but the suppliers could be saying that, and then they can't get some part of whatever, and then it's almost like they kind of have a blanket excuse too. At least
the biggest problem with everything is shipping. Is the problem point. That was the problem point with the gas line disruption down south.
Right.
Once they turned it back on, they just didn't have enough drivers to drive out, from the fuel line to get it out to the station. So, we understand what the problem is. That's I would want to have confirmation it's on the road and have a pro number before we're ripping it. But we have to get to the point that Gerald's comfortable enough to issue a letter of intent. We knew last week that it's going to be Silktown. There's no doubt about that. They've made the statement if we want to pull it and make it next year, we can do that too. So, obviously
they would hold that
something
price?
That would be. It would have to be something that would be discussed with material costs, because there's just so much money being pumped into the economy. Prices are going up, so it's hard to lock all that stuff. Either that, or they would secure all the material, keep it in a warehouse, and bill us up front, which we've done previously. We actually did that with the Fairfield Ward roof project. We bought 4 years worth of material in the first year and warehoused it.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Now, okay. Sal, what is the drawback of allowing this to go into the school year?
Well,
for completion.
Well, the only part that I would allow being in completion is trim work, is the metal work. Sometimes that usually lags into the school year. It's quiet work. Any loud component of that they can, defer to before or after school hours. Actual ripping, you can't have somebody above a classroom full of kids ripping a roof. Just can't do that.
No, I understand that, but they hopefully they would be beyond that point.
Right. So the actual first day for kids to be in school is I believe it's the 30th. The way the schedule goes, we asked for the 15th because teachers have professional development days. So there's some buffer in what we're talking about, but we just want to have our confidence that the delivery's committed and we can start making timelines. And the first part of that is getting the order in and getting some type of commitment, and then we have to track it. And it's just a matter of what they're doing, mobilization. They really can't bring materials onto site until after the school year is done, just because we really don't have excess parking lots to lay things down. So there's not much space to. It's a tight work site. Given the amount of material you've got to lay down and the amount of parking area available to do that.
Okay. Good.
At some point, I don't know if this is the right point. Can you just review for the allowance and the deduct alternate 1 and alternate 2, just for my own understanding, because those numbers are kind of all over the place amongst the bidders.
Yes. So the first allowance is for the metal deck. So basically, what it was is we had a certain percentage or certain size of the deck that potentially could be replaced or need to be replaced. So what we did is we had them all provide a number. So if you look at item number 2,
you gave them kind of a guess as to what the best guess is.
We told them right. We told them
replaced. Okay.
Correct. So we included metal deck replacement as part of the base bid. So that was item number 2. So if you look under item number 5, which is the unit pricing.
Yep, I am.
So you have the 2 complementary. So yes, the number that Silktown had provided was a low allowance, but when you look below, they're also
it's 2,350. I just did that math, so that everybody was told 2,350, and that's what those numbers are based on.
So so if you look at the number below under unit pricing, you'll see that they're the lowest for that item. So we have the metal deck. They included that $4,700. And then if we had to replace additional beyond the allowance, then it would be that $2 a square foot. Okay. And then the alternate number 4, let me just see this one here. This one I believe, let me just see here. Let me just look. I think this was where we were going from. I'm sorry. Wait, I'm going.
They didn't do anything on that alternate number under 2. That just says using different work methods,
different materials. Right.
So they're saying they're going to provide those materials.
Right. So I skipped over one by error. I'm sorry. So item number 3 was the deduct, which basically is within the base bid. We'd asked for a 25-year warranty. So again, because we were cognizant of the fact that the project could come in over budget, we didn't know. So what we did is we said, okay, in lieu of a 25-year warranty, give us a deduct to go back to a 20-year warranty. So that's what item number 3 was.
Okay.
And then the voluntary alternate, again, it was a different product. So in lieu of the specified product, I believe this was like a kind of equivalent to what we have, which is a kind of a membrane roof. Mm-hmm. And then again, same analogy with this again, because we weren't sure how competitive the numbers were going to be. And we were going to see, how close that we're going to be to the budget. So we asked for it. So as it turned out, Silktown did not provide that. But the base bid solution was within the allowable budget.
Okay. And the pressure-treated wood blocking, those add and deducts there, is that the same kind of a thing? Was there a certain an amount of pressure-treated wood blocking that's shown? And this is that's a guess?
I don't recall on that. Yeah, I think typically there is, but I don't recall what Sal might remember what it was for the amount that's being replaced.
The wood blocking, I believe that Ken is allowing them to keep the wood blocking, inspect the wood blocking that exists, and raise it for the additional thickness of insulation that's going to be put in because of the new energy code. So I think that was for replacement of what you find deficient. The other thing, just to clarify for Gerald on the about the warranty, even though we at this point we do not have a reimbursable roof project because of what I think is a misreading of statute by OSCGNR. We're still following all the processes as if it is a reimbursable job. And one of the things that they pick on is if you have a warranty that's longer than 20 years, because the only thing you're required by state statute is the minimum/maximum is 20 years. So they feel that they shouldn't have to pay on anything that's in excess of that. So that's why we asked that question.
I appreciate that because that seemed kind of strange that you would go from 25 to 20. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. 20 years ago when this building was originally built, asking for a 20-year warranty was an oddity, I should say. It wasn't standard practice. 15 years was kind of the hurdle that you had to go over, and it wasn't typical. Now that 20-year warranties are typical, 25 years warranties are becoming the norm in the marketplace. So they're just realizing that they can save a few shekels for the state coffers, so to speak, by denying reimbursement on that small percent, small dollar. Yeah.
So that means we could pay the $500 if we want that.
Right. Well, Jane can pay the $500, and we'll call it a day.
Yeah.
Right. It's
but we wouldn't get reimbursed.
All they're haggling over is 25% of that.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Because that's what they reimburse on. So $125. It's not even worth the discussion. But
it's $125.
Yeah, but if it's a difference between getting reimbursed for the whole project or not, we'll take the 20-year warranty. Right?
Yeah.
No, it's typically just the ad.
Okay.
Is this an EDPM roof?
What did you say, Joe?
Yeah, I didn't hear it.
Is this an EDPM roof?
No, this is an SBS modified bit roof.
Yep. What's the budget for this, Gerald? What was our projected budget?
$1.5 million. So we've got
what's the architect?
A nice contingency.
What about I forget what the architect was.
The architect was like $30,000.
Sorry.
Was approximately $30,000.
Okay.
Right.
So we're even with the two combined, we're still well under the budget.
There's no other big items besides the architect and the contractor, correct?
No. The only things would be that would throw it off as if there was this, extensive, say, we were talking about the blocking, if you had a major blocking issue, or which, again, that's not a lot. And then the other one would be the roof decking would be your two major things.
You shouldn't have any
it shouldn't be like
or anything
major,
because it's a new building. Relatively
right,
speaking.
newer building, correct. Yeah,
but even at $2 a square foot, you could redeck that entire roof and still be under budget.
Right.
At $2 a square.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome.
20 years, huh? Holy mackerel.
And Silktown looks like qualified. They have a nice website.
Yeah, so we've had very good luck with them. Sal can talk more than I've only been since I've been with the town. I've only done one project with them, and it went through perfect. It was started on time, completed on time, punch lists. It was all very, very smooth. So I can't think of a single hiccup we had on that particular roof.
To speak to Silktown, they're the ones that you want. They're an A-list firm. They're a big firm, great reputation, great workmanship, great project managers. All around. You give them A's and A pluses. They're the Mary Poppins of roofing firms. They're practically perfect in every way.
Mr. Chairman?
Is that your brother-in-law or something, Sal?
No.
I'll put that in the mix.
Second cousin.
Mr. Chairman, are you there?
Yes.
Very good. So, do we have to select Silktown?
Yeah.
Officially?
What'd you say? I didn't hear you. Yes, we
Are
do.
we selecting Silktown tonight?
We have to vote.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So I make a motion to select Silktown Roofing. I make a motion to select Silktown Roofing. Everything Sal said is exactly on point. It's correct.
Okay, this sounds like Al Kelly who's just making.
Yeah, I've been on for a while. I've been on for a while. I apologize. I just wanted to listen. So.
And Steve Kornichuk is on too.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Excellent.
Steve, welcome aboard.
Okay, well, I will second the motion as Al has just proposed. Do we have any further discussion?
Can Al just be more specific in his motion to approve Silktown Roofing to,
Bid 2021-116.
Well, what would you like me to say, Jen? I'll say
that you
anything you
approve
want.
Silktown Roofing as the contractor for the Burr School project?
Fine, great. That's yes, that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So we have amended that.
We have a second. We have to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any objections or anybody not in favor?
Not at all.
None heard. Motion's carried.
Thank you very much.
We're just going to go on to one quick thing. Steve, we welcome you to the committee. You've been approved apparently by the selectmen, I guess, with service, and we look forward to having you with the committee for a long time, hopefully.
Absolutely, looking forward to it.
Are we
Okay.
Oh, never mind.
That's it. I have nothing further to say.
So can I just to summarize everybody? This is going to release Jerry, correct? To send the letter to Silktown. Say it again.
It's Gerald.
Gerald.
I stand corrected. This relieves Gerald to send the letter to Silktown. However, we don't want to cut them loose until we know we need a letter back from them at some point that basically says, we have the insulation, we can go. South is saying it's a 4-week project. That means school starts on the 30th of August. That means they got to have the stuff by mid-July sometime. That's 6 weeks.
Right.
Is that correct? Am I wrong, Sal? Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, and we actually have that communication already. We would be looking for their pro number when the cover board and the cap sheet is shipping, so that we have a firmer date, and that would happen, ideally in 3 weeks.
From what I understand, Gerald, you're going to take that language and have the lawyer review it, correct?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Right.
Are they going to? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And their AIA contract is already has been sent in or the architect has sent in the AIA contract, and it's been marked up already. So, everything's in order for us to proceed as soon as possible.
Do you expect them to ask for money in advance or upon delivery of upon delivery then of the insulation they need, right?
No. Yeah, they'll bill in the normal cycle.
Okay.
And tell you the truth, the job I doubt that we'll probably have 2 bills to review, and the first one will be probably for 80% of the job, somewhere around there, 60 to 80% of the job, and then the other one would be for closeout and retention.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, nothing further.
Rich,
meeting
can I
is
make
adjourned.
a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right. Motion carried.
All right. Take care, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
guys.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good
Bye.
night. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Happy 4th of July if we don't meet.
Happy 4th. Yes, thank you. Bye-bye.
Yep, everybody. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I just